Hey everyone, welcome back to the Jays for Down podcast. I'm your host, Jay, once again here to talk some football with you here on this Tuesday as we get closer and closer to the NFL draft and much more exciting things coming here in the NFL. But before we get to that, make sure you guys, of course, as usual, subscribe to us on YouTube. We're climbing that up. We're already at 122 subscribers, so please continue to help us contribute to that account. We really appreciate it here. As well as check us out on Spotify and every other podcast platform we are available on. So please make sure you give us a check out there. And also get yourselves a copy of my book, A Good Man in an Evil World here. Yes, I am an author now. So this is something I put a lot of effort into and, a lot of time into, something I really want to do for myself and for others as well. So it's called, A Good Man in the Evil World. You can get it on Amazon for purchase via paperback or Kindle ebook. So either one, you want to read online, listen to an audio version, whatever, or you want to get the paperback version, go old school, get you a paperback like me, then you can get it that way too. So just make sure you guys, please, I would appreciate it so much if you just support and get yourselves a copy of this book. So and I'll provide a link to that in the description below on YouTube. But getting us started here today, we're going to talk about Allen Robinson and the Pittsburgh Steelers, the trade that happened today. I'll give you my thoughts on that, as well as Damar Hamlin and his news involving the rest of his football career. And I give you my best landing spots for Tennessee quarterback Hendon Hooker, who is now entering the draft, and where I think he'll end up, I think he should end up, what's going to be the best teams for him to go to. So we'll all get into that. So make sure you stay tuned for that, please, here on the podcast. Without further ado, let's get started. So, so today the Pittsburgh Steelers traded for Allen Robinson, the former Jaguars, Bears, and Los Angeles Rams wide receiver. Robinson, of course, went to the Rams last year and signed a one-year deal there, with, hoping to develop a rapport with Matthew Stafford and get himself back out there in the receiver market, to the limelight and the receiver limelight, as a couple of years ago, this dude was putting up back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons for the Bears. And he goes to the Rams. He's just completely underutilized, Then again, he didn't look like he had all his steps back either, but Matthew Stafford barely looked his way. And, of course, everybody knows the Rams just had a bunch of problems going on last year, the injuries and a lot of inconsistencies with offense and, defense as well in certain spots. So, just overall, just a big, dysfunctional array there for the Los Angeles. And Robinson, being a part of that, he just couldn't, he didn't really, just never panned with that team, never panned out with that team. Just didn't happen. So he goes to the Steelers in exchange for a 7th-round draft pick, so the Steelers get a draft pick as well as Robinson, and the Rams get a 7th-round draft pick in exchange. So, to me, it's like this. If you're the Steelers, and I'm going to get into the Steelers here in a second because I believe that they really have got to, step it up now. But we'll get to that here in a minute. But, you have George Pickens, Deontay Johnson, Pat Freiermuth, a great tight end. He's an emerging tight end in this league. I think he can be really good. But, the receiver position, is something that I think they really were fine at. And, I think I really want them to just address that position in the draft. But, unless you're going out and trading for DeAndre Hopkins, right? Or wherever, but Allen Robinson, really? Like I said, no shade to Allen. This dude has been he's been a solid receiver in his career, like I said, with the Jaguars. And he really broke out with the Bears, surprisingly due to that bad quarterback play they've had over the years there, Mitchell Trubisky and, Andy Dalton, so just a very inconsistent quarterback play that the Bears have had. And the fact that Allen Robinson was able to go there and produce like he was shows you about him as a player, as a receiver, as a human being, just trying to shine through those, unfortunate circumstances that, being a player at that specific position, having to deal with, and still able to go out and produce good numbers. So that shows you a lot about him and his growth and maturity as a player. Unfortunately, just didn't work out for him. So he ends up going to the Rams, thinking, hey, it's the Super Bowl champs. they're coming off a Super Bowl. Maybe I can just come in here and play me a good role, kind of like an Odell similar type of role. That's what they thought. That's what they thought he could be. Obviously, not Odell because him and Odell are two different type of players. I mean, Odell was extremely helpful to that Rams team. A huge reason why they were winning the Super Bowl. In fact, he might have won the Super Bowl MVP had he not got hurt. It would have been very close between him and Cooper Kupp. Either one of them could have won that award if Beckham would have stayed healthy. But now, the Los Angeles like, okay, let's bring in Allen Robinson. He's a proven guy in this league. He's a veteran. Been on a couple of different teams, a couple of different locker rooms. He's put up solid numbers. Like I said, been consistent even with bad quarterback play. And they think he's going to come in, and be a solid, solid second option to Cooper Kupp, a solid, second fiddle to Cooper Kupp. And it just did not happen at all. Matthew Stafford did not look his way, really barely. So what that was about completely, I don't know. I'm not going to get into that speculation as far as that's concerned. But, he just never really produced. He only had like 300 yards, maybe not even that total for the season, 10 games played, so, he got hurt, right? But as with a lot of players on the Rams offense. And, so I just don't, it says a lot about him, the fact that he's still in the NFL right now, and that a lot of teams believe that he can still be a solid receiver. And that's what the Steelers thought. That's why they went out and traded for him. But to me, it's like you don't have to do that. You got George Pickens. Deontay Johnson's a good player. Pat Freiermuth is a good player. Really great tight end. He's emerging. He's getting up there. He's going to only continue to get better, right? And again, I thought this is a loaded wide receiver draft class. You could really address that position in the draft, and they still might. But they want to go out and get Allen Robinson, and they think he can contribute to this offense, and so we'll see if he can. I mean, they traded away Chase Claypool to the Bears, because he had, after his rookie year, he never really festered after that. He never really did anything. So now your receiving core pretty much consists of Deontay Johnson, again, like I mentioned, Pat Freiermuth, George Pickens. I mean, that's really it, to be honest, as far as like competence is concerned. So I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't like to trade for the Steelers. For the Rams, it's like, you get a draft pick back. It's equal. It's like, it's fair. If you look at it on paper, for what Robinson did, what he put up, the numbers he put up, so for the Rams, you weren't throwing him the ball anyway. So why not get rid of him? So I can understand it from both sides a little bit. But really not too much, particularly from the Steelers, because you are just in a situation where you like, okay, we got a great running back in Najee Harris. Like our defense is solid, even though we're getting a little old in some spots there. We lost some of our players in free agency. Cam Sutton, lose him to the Lions. So that hurts you, right? So the Steelers are, I think, in a spot right now. And they continue to keep their 500 streak alive under Mike Tomlin. They didn't have a losing record, so that's a good thing for them. But they want to win. They want to win and go to the playoffs. And they were close by like a couple of games this year. But again, the offense was just quite atrocious. The play calling was atrocious. And it improved in the second half of the season, but it just ended up being too late at that point. And so the Steelers right now are in a spot where, they have got to hit like you got your quarterback on a rookie deal. This is the perfect time for you to address your spots of need, your spots of need, positions of need that you need in order to, get the right players in so you can go and win playoff games, win a Super Bowl. This is what the Eagles did. They went out and got A.J. Brown, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, T.J. Edwards. He already on the team, but still, like, they add to that team. Darius Slay, like, when you have a quarterback on a rookie deal, you're able to go out and get players. James Bradbury, for example. You're able to go out and get players, that are going to help contribute overall because you're not paying your quarterback so much money as you would be if he was on his his rookie deal, if you're giving him this contract extension. But since you have that quarterback on that rookie deal, it's cheaper. You're paying him less. That way you have more money to spend on other positions on your football team, and that's really where the formula that mostly everybody in the NFL is trying to build a team from the inside out. As far as his offensive line, getting you a solid a great number one receiver, some solid second fiddles, to that number one receiver. If you need a running back, you're going to get your running back, or defensively, getting pass rushers has really been a popular thing over the past couple of years, and addressing in the secondary. So that's what I've noticed the trend that a lot of teams are taking. And it's a smart trend. It's a smart thing to do. I mean, why not? When you have your quarterback on the rookie deal, that's the perfect time for you to go and get positions of need that are going to help your team win football games. Because again, if you're throwing the whole diamond in on your quarterback, you're not able to spend on other positions of need. It's asked teams like the Atlanta Falcons, perfect example. Asked I mean, yeah. Well, I will say the Falcons for a big example. Because they put all their chips in on Matt Ryan. They were not able to spend on you know other positions on their team, and not put not invest in the other positions on their team, particularly the defense. And that's why the defense has been atrocious the last 5 or 6 years. But that's a whole different conversation. So the main thing is, I think people need to understand is that this is a time where you want to continue. Kenny Pickett is going to be going into a second year. He's had a year under his belt. Well, yeah, year under his belt. Some games starting. So he's got that. He's had experience. He's played out there. He's kind of developed a rapport with George Pickens. So the good thing for them is they've got that. And offensively, there's a lot of things they need to tweak up a little bit. Matt Canada is bringing back. He got brought back as offensive coordinator, much to Steelers fans' dismay. But he's back as an OC. So now my thing is, can they fix those issues that were plaguing them during the season offensively? Defensively, I think they were okay until they lost T.J. Watt due to injury. But other than that, their pass rush is formidable with Watt and Highsmith. Cam Hayward in the middle. He's getting older, so maybe that's a position that you want to address in the draft, right? That defensive tackle that knows interior position. Maybe a Jalen Carter. Who knows, right? So that's something that I think the Steelers should look into. With the draft coming next Thursday, really would take a look at your defensive line, and do you really want to invest in that interior? I think that's the thing that they really need to look into, because again, Cam Hayward's not going to keep doing what he's doing. He's getting older. And you need a pass rush. You need to be able to stop the run to win in this league. Defensively, your all three levels have to be on lock. And that's your defensive line, your linebackers, the secondary. Your three levels have got to be on block. They got to be able to not let anything pass them, anything through them. And so that's the big thing for me. And I think the Steelers right now, they're in that spot where they can help, get help with that in those areas, right? Again, I don't know, man. I just think that they're a team that could be better if they just you have a rookie quarterback. I didn't expect them to go 12-5 or 14-3 or whatever, but I expect them to be a little bit better than they were. Again, they lost a lot of games due to that offense being what it was, and not just being. It just wasn't. The play calling was not good at all. It didn't help Kenny Pickett at all. Receivers were not being consistent outside of Pickens. They dealt with injuries. With Najee Harris, and also the defense. Losing T.J. Watt for a while. So hopefully he comes back healthy. But if they are able to stay healthy for a good portion, maybe go after a corner and a defensive lineman in the draft, I think they're going to be good. Maybe an offensive lineman too. Need to hold that left tackle spot down. They need to get. They need to invest in protecting Kenny Pickett. And if he's going to be your franchise guy, you got to protect him. So those are my things right there for the Steelers, and how I think they've managed this offseason so far. It's been all right. Minus again the Allen Robinson trade, just didn't see a need for it. But they did it. They felt like that's what they needed to do, so they went in and did it. So we'll see what happens with them. But moving on here, Damar Hamlin has been cleared to play officially, after his cardiac arrest. So, just thank God that he's doing well, that he's with us, that he's still here. We're just thanking God for that. This guy, and I want to take a minute here to say this, Damar Hamlin, props to you, man. Props to you. To go through what you went through, man, and to still, just have the fight and the spirit inside of you to still, love to go and do what your dream is, to continue to chase your dreams and do what you love to do, and to give back and to use your experience to help others and inform others and teach others, enlighten the rest of the world. It's just amazing to me. And I props off to him for going through such tumultuous times. quite the conundrum to experience, and for his family and friends and close ones, loved ones as well, so prayers to them. And prayers to Damar continue to just grow and get healthier again. I'm glad that he's in the spot. We thank the Lord for it, Damar. So you're a strong individual, man, and keep going. God's always with you. I want you to know that, right? And so yeah, he has been cleared to play. By three officials have really cleared to play him since he's come back, and he's been going to different doctors and everything since he left the hospital and in Cincinnati after the scare that he had, that cardiac arrest in January against the Bengals there. But I'm just glad that he's doing okay. I'm glad that he's up and around. I'm glad that he's in great spirits, which is awesome. So that's great for Damar Hamlin. So yeah, I mean he's wanting to get back out there and play. So that's going to be awesome for him. I think that's a decision. Of course, I think he took time out of his out of his life to think about, and I'm sure he talked with the Lord about it and said, hey, just God, please lead me to where I need to be and to make the decision that's best for me. But I guess the way he feels is that he's able to go back out on the football field and continue to play. So, but yeah, moving on here to Hendon Hooker. So it's been a lot of buzz going around for Hendon Hooker lately, rightfully so. I mean, this dude was amazing. Tennessee, what he did and coming over there, transferring there, and lining it up with that offense, and now he's had a lot of his name has been mentioned between a lot of teams lately, and so I'm gonna give you my best picks for Hendon, his best landing spots where I think he'll be best if he ends up there. So for me, it's going to be the Minnesota Vikings and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I say this because for one, the Vikings, you go to Minnesota, you got an established receiving core with T.J. Hockenson, Justin Jefferson. They lost Adam Thielen in free agency to the Panthers, but KJ Osborne, so you got some solid players there, and they're only going to continue to add to that. I'm saying through the draft and possibly free agency, maybe trades later into the season next year. So, and he's really going to sit behind Kirk Cousins for a year. So we already know that's going to happen. And there hasn't really been much traction as far as extension talks between Kirk Cousins and the Vikings, as far as I'm concerned. As far as I've been told, there is no traction there. So this is, I really think he would really thrive in Minnesota. I truly think that, again, if he sits behind Kirk Cousins for a year, really learns the office, the system that Minnesota wants to run, what they're trying to do, their philosophy they're trying to implement there, what Kevin O'Connell wants to do every week, and he's a guy that is mobile. He can move out the pocket. He's got great awareness. He's very intelligent. It's something that was very obvious at Tennessee. Knows where to put the football. So and other things, the other tacky things, man, you can improve that. That's what the NFL, that's what these coaches are there for. That's what they're there to work on with him. And he's going to be a rookie, so it's like you don't expect him to come in and light it up automatically. Because he's not that high first round guy that's first, second, third. He's not a CJ Stroud. He's not a Bryce Young, but he's a guy that can start in this league. And I think he could definitely start for Tampa Bay and the Minnesota Vikings. But eventually. Now going to Tampa Bay, they signed Baker Mayfield for that 1 year contract. I guess to see what he's got. This kind of a prove-it deal for him. Can he come in? Can he start and lead this team to be somewhat competent? They're kind of in the midst of a rebuild themselves. They're not going to come out and say that. They don't. That's not what they want the image to be post Tom Brady. But that's what's going on. That's what's about to happen. This rebuild. And you got Devin White requesting a trade, so it's like I don't know what the Bucs are going to look like next year. But Hendon Hooker would be a great fit for Tampa Bay. I really do. I believe that he's a guy that he comes in and again you learn under Baker Mayfield for a year. And depending on what happens with him, I'm sure regardless that if they were to pick Hendon would be the starter in 2024. So. And I'm sure, again, the Bucs are going to continue to add to that receiving core. Whether they keep Chris Godwin or not, I'm not so sure. But you still got Mike Evans for the next couple of years. Who's a great number one receiver. And they're only going to continue to add to that position again. I feel like through the draft, through free agency. So again, those are two spots I really could see for Hendon Hooker. A lot of people said that maybe the Lions. That's possible. I feel like Anthony Richardson would be a better fit there. Personally, myself, if he were to go in that range. But I mean, and now Hendon has met with teams such as the Giants lately. He's met with the Colts, the Giants. I'm sure. So um, I mean, it's possible. I mean, it's the NFL. We don't know. I mean, we're as an analyst. I'm here just to give you my predictions, my thoughts. But I mean, I really don't know we don't know what's going to happen. He could end up getting drafted by, who knows? I mean, who knows? We don't know what's going to happen. So that's the thing about it. He could end up getting drafted by the Saints. I don't know. All I know is that the Saints would be really stupid to do that. But who knows? Again, this is the NFL. It's unpredictable. We don't know anything. All we're here to do is just predict and just watch and see what happens and talk about it and just enjoy it because that's what football is. It's a time to enjoy and have fun. Enjoy it. Watch these guys go out here and compete every week. And it's a year-round process. It's voluntary workouts have already started, so everybody's pretty much been reporting to the team facilities for voluntary workouts. So we'll be keeping an eye on that as well. Still waiting for some guys to get their contract deals done. Saquon, still hasn't got his deal done. Lamar Jackson, obviously, we talked about that a bunch of times. So waiting to see what happens. Even the Aaron Rodgers trade situation that's been going on, so they're kind of at a standstill right now. Really just a game of chicken. Who's going to bite first? Packers going to give in. Jets going to give in. What's going to happen? Aaron Rodgers may retire. He might go back to Green Bay. He might retire and not play again. Who knows? So we'll see what happens there. But so the NFL has been getting a lot interesting lately, and it'll continue to get interesting. And don't forget, guys, the draft is next Thursday, April 27th, catching on ABC, ESPN, NFL Network. It is here. The next crop of guys for the future will be arriving in the NFL very soon. So I'm excited for that. But before we end the show here, make sure you guys, again, go get yourselves a copy of A Good Man in the Evil World, written by yours truly. It is now available on Amazon for purchase. Again, Kindle, ebook, or paperback version as well. You can get that either way you want. But yeah, Good Man in the Evil World, written by me. So please make sure you support and check it out there. And make sure you subscribe to the channel. Check us out on YouTube, Spotify, wherever you get your favorite podcast. Again, I'm your host, Jaden, once again on Jay's Fit Down. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day and a great rest of your week. And we will see you back here next time.